What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology Retold action, spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Gaia. His name is El Matador. El Matador, the El Matador. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Isis. His name is Kimo. The map is... Wow, it doesn't want to tell me. Null Shallows. I was gonna click this button. It was gonna show you a nice picture. It didn't want to show me it. Nonetheless, it's Null Shallows. This one does spawn with these hippopotamus and everything else. You got that monument to the villages here coming up already for Kimo. Taking a quick look at the map. All the gold mines on this map are looking fairly out in the open. You got one here, one over here, town center over here. Doesn't really secure a whole lot. Town center over here doesn't really secure a whole lot. The back town centers definitely don't do anything of the sort. So a lot of opening here for aggressive play. Even inside the main base of Kimo, he's actually got forward chicken. It's going to be very, very challenging to actually defend that. He's also got an open gold mine in his main base. So there's a lot of room for aggression here on the side of El Matador. We'll see what he's going to actually want to go for. Now, when you're playing as Atlantean, especially the gods that have got access, well, every single god has got access to this sort of stuff here. Thank you for the raiding party, Kavoth. But when you're playing as Gaia, specifically Oceanus, makes it really, really challenging to get into that early game pressure in. And then also you've kind of got the issue of playing Egyptian here, where you can't really get that early pressure on anyways against the Atlanteans. So, well, against anyone really, super, super duper early, especially Isis. If you've got maybe Set or maybe Ra, you can maybe do something like that. Maybe going in with some early priest or something to get some harassment in could be another option, because then you can at least kill off the Caladria. But nonetheless, both of the berries and chickens are on the front, and then you've obviously got Hunt on the right side that Kimo is going to be scouting here. Hunt on the left side here that is on top of this town center. So this is actually not a terrible town center, and it looks like Kimo's got the same thing on the back here. So very, very nice town centers in terms of just sheer food. So if they can get that up, it's going to be nice. Whereas in the home base, these positions are all going to be nice and open over here. Back spot here for El Matador, really, really nice on the gold mine. So that's kind of looking very, very pleasant for him in this game. Over on this side, we do have the scales of a Catapulpass. This one's going to be making your Pierce vulnerability go down, which doesn't really help you for your myth units. Doesn't really help you against the Isis, but you know, if you're playing on the other side Isis and you want to make some myth units here against Gaia, it does make sense to be picking this relic up, because it is going to help them against things like Hero Arcus, Hero Terma, Hero Caraballister, and yeah, and also any sort of pierce damage that they're going to be getting hit by. Blue Crystal Shard here, plus 5% of basic, gather rate for gold and wood. Not bad. Over onto this side, we've got that Armor of Achilles here. Infantry damage vulnerability to hack. Minus 5% of the current. Nice one on there. And in the right side of them, we've got that Hestia's Hearth. Minus 5% of the villager train time there. Not some bad ones here. And we'll see how the game's going to go. A little bit of a villager shanking action happening on this side here. Is El Matador going to be pushing this one all the way back, and it is going to be, or not El Matador, Kimo is going to be sniping down a Oracle here. Now, it's kind of a trade in a way to do this. The villager here loses out on somewhere in the vicinity of 1 minute to 2 minutes of gather time. You lose out on an Oracle. Arguably, it's probably better to keep the Oracle alive, or at the very least, you can run it even further and keep the villager from working. But there's not a huge loss here for Kimo in doing this, so it does make a lot of sense. As Kimo now looking to be going for that second town center, it looks like El Matador is indeed going for exactly the same thing, sending his hero citizens over here and a regular citizen. If he wants to, he can heroize this citizen as well, as he's going to be able to build this one up as well very, very quickly. If you get the next hero citizen in, then there's just nothing that the Sphinx can do to deny this, and you're all good. Meanwhile, on this side, town center for Kimo. So both players have got this back town center up, which means map very, very open. It's going to be very challenging to kind of secure the map if you go for any sort of classical pressure. It's just, you're going to be seeing El Matador going into opening up with a counter barracks straight away. So Terma early stages here does make some sense because you're going to have that speed to get across the map, harass on this position, and just lock down the map in the center here as well. And once you pick off that Sphinx as well, it might not be a terrible idea to actually move the oracles into a space that like they can start scouting out for you and actually using them twofold, like one for favor and two for actual scouting, so you can see what's actually happening as another military barracks is going to be coming up. Another idea that I haven't really seen Gaia players sort of going into in a big way is getting these economic guilds down sort of offensively. It's really, really nice when you're playing defensively as Gaia because you're going to be getting 1.5 HP. Well, sorry, not 1.5, 1 HP a second back while sitting on the Gaia Lush. Plus you get, when you get channels, you're going to be speeding those units up as well, which is obviously very, very helpful. But, oh, this isn't a counter barracks, military barracks. Okay, Mermillion. So he's going to be able to move forward and get something very, very nice happening if he wants to go for that. Obviously, it's an investment, but it's definitely a good investment. In the main base here for Kimo, just building up his houses, getting everything sorted out, armory coming up. You can see that he's on these back berries here. He's got this position nice and locked down. And at this point, you're starting to ask the question, maybe you can get some harassment into this position over here. You can definitely be attacking over here as the Terma are going to be starting to move forward and get a little bit of pressure happening. Kimo, he's got a little bit more food he needs to get, a little bit more gold he needs to get in. So this harassment is going to be delaying him significantly here as El Matador on the offensive at this 6-minute and 30-second mark as Kimo has to pull all the way back in. He's going to try and drag these hippopotamus nice and close underneath his town center. Very nice move here to keep himself nice and alive. And this is not going to be able to get harassed too easily. The town center is very, very strong moving forward at this point. As over onto this side, we've got the Sphinx getting some good damage here. We've got that hero Terma on the way as well. Let's try and snipe down the Sphinx. If you can, like I said, if you can actually take this Sphinx out, it does give you that opportunity to start actually moving out on the map with oracles. You don't have to be too worried. You could also just heroize the oracle and then send it forward, but that's a little bit more risky. As a couple of citizens coming up onto this position, going to try and grab a forward gold mine. Against Isis, it seems to me that if you can sort of split your villages up as Atlantean into multiple different positions, then when the Ancestors Eclipse comes onto your economy, which Kimo is definitely a fan of doing, it's going to be a lot easier to defend against it. Because you've got a whole bunch of citizens in the center, these are all going to have to get sort of garrisoned. But if you've got citizens over here, and citizens in the middle, then you don't have to defend. Well, you have to defend against more stuff, but you don't have to defend against more stuff. You can just kind of garrison in wherever the minions are, and you're all good. As the Sphinx does end up getting sniped down. And in killing this is also really good for him because he's going to be able to deny vision. If we take a quick look over onto Kimo's perspective here, he is sending his Sphinx around on the left side, so he's going to be able to get in there, but in picking off that back one, he's definitely mitigated a little bit of damage already, just on the fact that Kimo's not going to have any idea where to click that Ancestors Eclipse for max value. As the unit's still sitting in the middle here, we're still not seeing any sort of attempt to go to the next age. Handful of units here to start pushing forward, so it could just be full send all the way here for El Matador in the classical age, trying to restrict gold mines. Super open map here, so these sort of aggressive plays are really, really good. Does manage to snipe down the priest, pushing in, trying to take down a villager here at this point. Snipes one, good play there. Meanwhile, the Sphinx not yet going to be moving forward here. Is Kimo's still taking his time. Kimo does have to be a little bit worried at the moment. He's got the resources to go mythic age here, but obviously he needs to get that Migdol stronghold down, and all of a sudden Ancestors Eclipse clicked onto the front of the map here, and El Matador, simply put, just has to retreat back. So he will be getting himself this position. And the hero Terma, there's actually quite a few of these. This is actually really well done by El Matador. He's going to be able to take out all of these minions for effectively free. One Migdol stronghold up on this position, one up on this position, will probably mean that El Matador can just come and sit underneath this spot. He's getting up a third Migdol, so a lot coming in. He does have that prosperity in, plus tons of food in the bank, so he will be able to shoot up to his mythic age if he wants to. We see Carnivora getting dropped down onto this position, attempting to take out the Migdol stronghold, or at least tank a little bit here as the military units are going to be charging forward. Galadriel healing up the units as well, as the Pharaoh are going to be jumping in and out of this Migdol stronghold to try and hold this position. You have to remember that Kimo's on the other side here getting gold at the moment. No prosperity to get used. Lots of villagers actually idle here, as El Matador is going to be sending more and more stuff in onto this position here. The Pharaoh over here looking like it's about to go down as well. As he pops back out over here. Pharaoh almost getting sniped. Nope. Going to get back into that Migdol stronghold. Trying to take out the Caladria again as the Pharaoh ends up falling. Hestia's Hearth gets dropped down. And the Migdol stronghold is going to be getting finished off here. But even though that's happened, we see Kimo, he's got himself the double Migdols up onto this spot. He's getting himself Levy Migdol stronghold. Chariot Archers coming through, and I wouldn't be surprised to see El Matador now either grabbing a town center or going heroic age, taking this victory, because he's just got a huge amount of damage dealt. He's in front in the civilian unit population by a significant amount. He's getting himself that Bite of the Shark and some more Mamillo as the Terma charging forward here. Snipe one villager, going after another one here. More villagers falling. Great control from El Matador thus far as Kimo moving up to the left side. Another Migdol stronghold to come down. He still hasn't used the prosperity. He's still got a ton of food in the bank. But at the moment, what does he really want to build here to get an edge? What can Kimo go for? These Terma in low numbers, they're in low numbers of Chariot Archers. The Terma are going to be able to snipe them off very, very quickly. But once they get to big numbers, then, I mean, how does it go? We'll have to wait and see. But 3 Migdol strongholds up on this position does make it very, very challenging to get in here as the Prosperity gets dropped down. Thea is on the way. If we take a quick look at what El Matador has got, he's getting himself a ton more military barracks. He's got 2 counter barracks only at the moment. As the Terma going to be charging up onto this position, looking for some sort of damage to get done. Going to be pulling back for the time being. Can snipe down that Sphinx. He's got the Hero Terma in here as well. He can then actually charge in and take down those Chariot Archers here. He has the speed at 5.8 on the Hero Terma, 5.5 on the regular Terma here as well. He does manage to snipe one. We'll have to pull back again as the Camel Riders are now going to start moving across the map. And, I mean, Kimo at this moment, it's pretty obvious to me that he really wants Mythic Age for the Camel Riders upgrade. Because if he gets that, then he can start raiding around and actually dealing with this sort of, I wouldn't say it's an immobile army, but the infantry units, they don't have a whole bunch of mobility to kind of catch up to those Camel Riders, which is kind of why you need to spread this lush out, which at the moment El Matador is doing really, really nicely with Menace. Kimo now going for another town center on this position, but that's going to get shut down pretty hard here as El Matador still charging forward, still sniping down the Chariot Archers on the back here. Camel Riders going down on this position as well. As the villagers retreat back into the Migdol stronghold. Town center gets denied. Catapulties going after these units as best as they can. But there's just not a whole lot of stuff out here for Kimo at the moment. He's got just tons of gold, but I mean, he's got enough to sort of pump units, but with only 3 Migdols, maybe it's enough. El Matador is committing pretty heavily in onto this position, but he is managing to snipe down a lot of these Egyptian units, keeping that population very, very low. Meanwhile, still raids coming in from Kimo as more units to come up to the top position. Taking out this Migdol stronghold is going to be huge, because this is where this is the next gold opportunity or option for Kimo. He can go to the right side, but there's a Carnivora over there. So if this Migdol falls, life is going to get very challenging for Kimo very, very shortly here. And Kimo at the moment still hasn't gotten any upgrades either. There's the Chariot Archers charging forward, trying to snipe down those. Well, the Terma sniping them down very nicely. Another Carnivora getting dropped onto this position. Also 4 Oracles out for the time being here. There's a Migdol stronghold almost going to be getting finished off. Terma swinging around onto the top side here. They've got themselves heavy upgrades. They can keep on taking these chariots out for the time being here. As the Camel Riders pushing forward. And we'll see if El Matador can push off this gold mine. I mean, does he even need to? He can just take the fight sort of underneath these Migdol strongholds for a little bit. Continue to take a good trade. He's up 50 population here, so this is completely fine for him to be sitting under here, getting villager kills and everything. Kimo's population dropping down to 67 at this moment. There's the villagers on the back here, getting sniped up. El Matador still looking to break through here. We'll see if Kimo is going to be able to somehow figure out a way back, and he's still raiding with these camel riders. But at this point, El Matador's catapulting on that lush, 5.7 speed. They're not quite as fast as the camel riders at the moment, but they do chase very, very nicely. In a way, Hero Catapulties, does he have weightless mace as well? He does. So if he gets Hero Catapulties on the lush, they're actually getting kind of fast enough to sort of, well, they're getting more than fast enough to chase those camel riders down. So it wouldn't be a terrible idea to just make a couple of Hero Catapulties to sort of chase around the lush and deal with those camel riders. Nonetheless, Kimo now attempting to move over onto this position as another fight going to be ensuing here. Terma, yet again, charging through. We see the champion, oh, not the champion, but the heavy chariot archers is in here. As the army for El Matador continues to push forward, continues to take these units out. Scorpion men on the front. You're getting a lot of good value. There's not a whole lot of heroes at the moment for El Matador, but he's managing to snipe it down nonetheless, as the gold situation is looking grim here for Kimo. He might be able to move back over onto this position. We do see there's the forward economic guilds here from El Matador. Love this play. This is something that it's so huge because, I mean, one, you get the speed for your army, but more importantly, you're going to be getting that life regen, that HP regen from sitting on the lush. There's the Terma charging in, trying to take down those chariot archers back here as well. One going down. Can he get in and take out the rest of these bad boys or not? It looks like he's going to be able to. The Dryads pushing off the wood line there as well. Onto this position, the Migdol Stronghold's going to get taken down, and in that spot, Kimo does decide to call it as El Matador finds the angle on this map. I mean, we're talking about it in the early stages of the game, but when you have an open map like this, these sorts of classical age, aggressive options are really, really good. Because if your opponent wants to take it really slowly, go to town center, go heroic age, put Migdols down, they're asking to get a lot of pressure in from basically any civilization, right? It becomes challenging when the map is kind of more closed. You can't really get in and get that damage done without having to maybe sit underneath the town center or sitting, like, trying to get through a choke point or something like that. But really, really nice decision from El Matador in this game. And he kind of catch Kimo off guard to some degree. And guys, we'll check out this post game and just see the story. But you can see that this military advantage here for El Matador just sits at the top here and just never lets up. Resources going up into the stratosphere here as well. And this is why El Matador's up here at, he's currently ranked number 4 on the ladder. So super, super strong play, keeping people in check, making sure they're all making the right decisions all the time. And that's what the top of the ladder is about. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game. What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retold action, spawning in the right-hand corner of the map, playing as Odin. His name is El Matador. His opponent today in the red color playing as Isis. His name is Kimo. We did watch these players play a matchup of Gaia versus Isis recently, so now we're going to be checking out that Odin versus Isis and seeing what we can see in this matchup. Now, let's talk a little bit about what we see on the map first and foremost to see if there's any sort of opportunities or things that you guys might want to be looking out for to decide on sort of strategies you might want to take. So first and foremost, back town centers here. If these back town centers get grabbed, a nice close gold mine over here for Kimo. Is this Kimo? Yeah, for Kimo. And a back forest might look enticing, but so long as pressure is applied down onto this position, this town center doesn't really support or defend this or this. So all you have to do is basically prevent a wall from going up here, or using forest fire on this these trees to open this position up for a big, big push, and you're going to be able to deny this sort of situation here. Over onto this other side, this town center over here, for example, this one nice and close to this gold mine, so a town center doesn't really protect this either. I don't really see a nice way to kind of support this position either. So this talent center is kind of a no-go. This one on this position, however, is starting to look very, very good because you've got the gold mine directly behind, and all of a sudden you have to deny the wall here. You have to deny the wall over here, a wall over here and here as well. There's a lot of very, very difficult ways to get through. You can kind of swing through on this way to break into this position here and attack over here, but still it's going to be a challenge. So I would say this town center you need to kind of defend and prevent this town center from going up. But my guess is that Kimo, he sees this back town center and he's probably going to be wanting to just drop that against the Norse player or go for a classical fight here. Classical fighting against Odin with Isis, not the worst thing in the world, definitely does work, especially when you go through Anubis. Those Sphinx can work as well. A reason why Anubis is so good is because those Anubites can be very, very difficult to deal with. I'm realizing we are now on the wrong flip screen at the top here. As the temple for El Matador just about to be finished up. And he will be getting some ravens in. So we'll see where he's going to be sending those bad boys. He hasn't really scouted out his opponent's side of the map. And I think this is something I'm basically every time I play Norse from now on against some civs, not every civ, depends on the civ. But against Egyptian, I'm starting to feel like I really need to know what the entirety of the map is super early so I can make a decision on whether or not I'm going to play a defensive game or an offensive game. And what does that mean? It's like, how do I figure that out? And basically all it is the temple you build, this temple not with your immediate berserk. This berserk goes scouting for the entirety of the Archaic Age, but with a secondary berserk. And you build that berserk just after the third dwarf to build the temple. And you're still going to be able to get yourself a 409 advance time. So there's really no problems with doing it. It's not setting it that far behind. You can even go for a 420, 430-ish advance time if you really want to as well. So Valkyrie now out here for El Matador, and you can see already here for Kimo, he is going for his town center. And every time I watch Kimo doing this, he's always a little bit short on this gold. He's sending the villagers over very, very early to drop the town center, but he's always short. One idea as well, and I know that there's going to be some players who are going to disagree with me on this, but I have seen Soup trying this. One idea is to actually go for Heimdall in this situation, rather than Freya. Obviously, Freya makes a lot of sense because you're going to be able to get Ses Rumnir for your Hersa, which is really, really important, and Thundering Hooves to take out raiding cavalry. But Heimdall, you can just undermine this town center, and you're going to be able to delay this quite a bit. And that's going to give you even more time to sort of play with. If you deny this town center right now, there's no gold in the bank for Kimo to get the town center up. So all of a sudden, you're actually in a good spot. So it's a little bit of metagaming, so to speak. It might not work every single time. So it's not like a strategy to go every single time, but it's an idea on certain maps if you really want to try it. I definitely, like, Soup's being given it a go. It's definitely not a terrible idea. As we do see that forest fire comes in. He does get the villager kill. So nice snipe there. And the town center about to be up for El Matador as well. Both players sort of finishing that one at the same time. Generally speaking, is advantage for the Norse player, in my estimation. Because the Egyptian player should probably be finishing the town center about 30, 45 seconds faster than the Norse. So they should have around about a 3 villager lead with with not perfect play, but with like a rushed town center. So we'll see how this is all going to translate as the Sphinx charging forward. There are a whole bunch of relic monkeys in the center of the map here. As the Sphinx does manage to push forward here. Nice micro from Kimo with the monkeys. These things are so obnoxiously strong as he will have to take these out. He does have the regen for his units, but it's going to take a long time for them to come back up. Is he going to lose the Hersa? No, does manage to keep that one alive. At the very least, all these monkeys are going to go down as the final relic monkey will end up getting cleaned up. Monkeys OP. These monkeys are so OP. Now, one little, trick you can do is if you leave one of the monkeys alive and just sort of bait it off into the distance and then sort of leave it there, then the monkeys won't respawn unless he deletes the monkey. But if your opponent notices that, they notice it. So it's not really a practical trick. It's just a trick. There's some walls coming up in the center of the map here. Got an ox cart up onto this position here for El Matador. He's going to be jumping onto the gold mine. Over here we've got a longhouse coming up for El Matador as well. As he is just starting to get into these raiding cavalry. And this is what I was talking about. You've got to deny these walls onto this gold mine here. This is everything. This position here is everything. And that's almost why I would have preferred to not see the forest fighter come in. Yes, he can come through and just deny the wall right now. Try and take that out. We see the raiding cavalry attempting to swing through here. Already taking a lot of damage on that position. He sees a priest here. Can he come in and snipe that down or not? Looks like the answer is not just yet. No, he's not going to be able to do so. As he retreats back, there is an opening on this right side, so it's not all doom and gloom here for El Matador just yet, but denying this is very, very nice. However, there is a gold mine on the left side of the map that he's going to have to deal with as well, and with half the units on the top position here, it's going to be a challenge to deny both sides. So he kind of needs to split up his army to some degree, as Nephthys is coming in. We've got that hand axe on the way, adds of wet through as well. So we'll see if he can get some damage done. There's really not that many units out here for El Matador, so he's not really spamming out as much as he can. At the moment, I would be assuming that these chickens are very much able to get raided here. The towers, you see how much damage they do. And I know it's kind of a meme at this point, but there is somewhat of a mental barrier, I would say, to a lot of players with these towers. These towers here, they're menacing, but you can charge in and you can get some villager kills here. The villagers will turn around and shank. That's why you need a significant amount of units. We are seeing El Matador trying to split up his army a little bit, just making sure that there's no sneaky villagers anywhere on this position. But over on the bottom side of the map, we've got a 7 HP Sphinx looking to dive through and drop Ancestors Eclipse here. Lots and lots of walls coming up here for El Matador, but he's a little bit slow to be denying anything. The obelisks are getting cleaned up, and Migdol Stronghold in the center of the map. Not getting spotted. Lots and lots of raiding cavalry here to be denying this, but not going for it, which will allow Kimo to use Ancestors Eclipse kind of wherever he wants. As El Matador wants to go to the next age, I would assume here. He's got the resources for it. Do you go Skadi? Do you go Njord? Another Migdol Stronghold going to be coming up. And in going for this like 2 town center semi-fast heroic sort of idea and getting no value realistically with the raiding cavalry, you're kind of asking for the Isis player to do whatever they really want to do here. Like go Mythic Age, spam out a bunch of units and hit a huge timing on you. Ancestors Eclipse now dropped as Kimo feeling very, very safe at this point. Minions going after this position here. So the villagers here will be able to run past this into this wall. A beautiful sort of Magyar-esque wall on this position here and up here that he can use to just retreat away as the Ursa coming in. You could try and repair the wall back up as the villagers. They've got to retreat all the way back. Meanwhile, the raiding cavalry not going to be quite able to just break through these Migdol strongholds here. So Ursa going after this position nicely. The minions will all get cleaned up. I imagine we're going to see that prosperity. It's already clicked in, and all of that gold is coming through. 3 Migdol strongholds up already for Kimo. And now the upgrade's also on the way, but the timer is now ticking for El Matador to get something done. Whether that be another town center for himself or a huge amount of army with a frost, get value with that frost and break through. Now seeing a couple of units coming through for Kimo just to hold on. It's a tiny amount here. He can easily frost this and then just break through both of these Migdol strongholds if he wants to. But resource-wise, a little bit low. Doesn't have enough for that heavy raiding cavalry, which I think is what he's really going to be needing here. There's a couple of units who are actually going to be breaking out onto this position. Chariot Archer going to get sniped down here by El Matador. Good spot. Oh, he lets it go. And Kimo going to be losing actually quite a few units here. This might be the cue to move forward here. So as the Mythic Age is going to be able to be grabbed. We're also seeing a couple of Ulfjarls actually coming in. Throwing those away, however. I'm not sure about those bad boys. Ulfjarls are in a bit of a weird spot at the moment, to be completely frank. I'm not sure what their use case is for... I guess the kill of Axemen is kind of your best bet. Like, counter infantry. Throwing Axemen, Hapaspist, and I guess... yeah, that's about it. So wall's getting broken down over here. We've got some camel riders coming through onto this spot. We'll see how these Jarls are going to do, but still no heavy cavalry is making me feel a little bit worried for El Matador in this game. As Osiris is clicked up, the army is starting to get very, very scary here. You have to also remember we got that frost, and sometimes just using frost on half of the army to immobilize half of the army is kind of the way to go. As he frosts this unit, this army in the middle here, he's going to have to come in and take down these Migdol strongholds. And that's exactly what he's going to be going for. A couple of villagers also do end up getting frozen here as El Matador is racing against the clock for the time being to snipe down both of these Migdol strongholds. He's hitting a very, very nice timing at the moment to clean this position up. And this will slow down the production for Kimo in a really big way, but he's got 1,000 gold in the bank to produce a couple more Migdol strongholds. The other thing is maybe if he can snipe off all of these units, this is going to be huge for him as well, as the Migdol stronghold will get finished up over here. The unit's not going to, or he's going to attempt to get some sort of a ghost building placement over here, but there is an opening on this spot as well. 3 seconds remaining to just get this down, as he does manage to complete it. The Chariot Archers making a break for it. Lots and lots of villagers will be getting cleaned up on this position, as Kimo super stuck at the moment, as El Matador does decide now time to turn around, but he's actually in a bit of an odd position here, as he's got his herdmen to take out the camel riders, and then the Chariot Archers on the back will be falling here, as the mummy on this position getting sniped down. That's huge, as he managed to finish it off. No! Survives with 3 HP. So close, yet so far. As now the damage is being done, but where is the next point here for El Matador in this game? He doesn't have the vision on the map. He doesn't see there's a point of attack over here for the moment. Over here, these villagers, 1,000 gold left on that position. He's retreating. Still no heavy cavalry at the moment either. A bit of a problem for him, because this is the sort of the thing. I want to talk a little bit about this while we got a little bit of downtime. The Son of Osiris, this unit is really, really good, but its weakness is speedy units that have got high damage. What's a speedy unit with high damage? Cavalry. What's good against cavalry? Camel riders. So all of a sudden you've got, and then what does the Son of Osiris do? It erases everything that kills off the camel riders. So it makes it really, really challenging to actually kill off the Son of Osiris when there's a whole bunch of camel riders and a Son of Osiris in front. If there's nothing like that, then, or you can catch the Son of Osiris out with a whole bunch of infantry, then yeah, you can get that damage done. Camel rider raids now hitting over here as Kimo is getting unleashed onto this map, as the Berserks sort of coming over to get a little bit of return fire in onto this position here. Up here as well, we see a camel rider getting some more damage done over there as well, but we've got Tyr on the way here for El Matador. One answer for the Son of Osiris camel rider Chariot Archer comp here for Norse, and I say it reluctantly, but I say it nonetheless, is if you can get out full Huskal, and I mean full Huskal, you will be able to break through onto the Son of Osiris if you can catch those units sort of in a good spot. Good little catch out onto the camel riders as they will start retreating away. They're now up to 7.2 speed with that Desert Winds tech. But the raids have been hit, and El Matador is now actually behind on villagers, even though he's done a significant amount of damage to Kimo. Kimo now able to get himself a third town center. He's at 150 pop. El Matador at a lot of resources, but not very much population here. I think he could be at full pop and really getting the damage done. There's a Fimbulwinter coming through. A little bit of a weight on the Fimbulwinter actually would have done more damage. The way Fimbulwinter works is it spawns on every town center that's up. Whereas this one over here doesn't get any wolves on it. But Kimo in the middle here. Be able to take out that. Oh, does it take out the Son of Osiris? Jeepers. Cheeky little Pharaoh to just completely erase all the Fimbulwinter wolves. That's actually kind of a neat little defense. Not sure if Kimo did it on purpose or not, but nonetheless, he can actually take the villagers back out of the town center nice and early. He didn't do it on purpose because he didn't take the villagers out. Okay. There's a wooden gate getting cleaned up over here. We've got some raiding cavalry moving over onto the left side of the map to try and take this position. Market, Migdol Stronghold on the way. There's the hill fort. Going to be coming up here in the middle as well for El Matador. She's got so many units queued up. Another town center now coming through. And to some degree, the longer this game goes on, the better opportunity or the better chance El Matador has to kind of take some sort of a win. I mean, compared to Legacy, Norse definitely has got a really, really strong late game. So you can definitely make a lot of stuff happen. But that being said, Isis still has a really good late game. Ra still has a really good late game. So the Egyptians, just because Norse has gotten a better chance in the late game, it's still not an easy late game to win. It's definitely winnable. There's legendary Jarls now coming through. Champion infantry on the way. Berserker gang coming through as well. We see that bravery tech, not just yet. One answer as well for this sort of composition here is Frost. You get out a couple of Hersa, like 5-6 Hersa, to get onto the mummies. Frost the army, and then you get a surround onto this whole situation here. And you can completely erase the army, erase the Son of Osiris, and have a huge advantage cooking. But currently, not enough favor in the bank. There's lots of favor being spent on those upgrades and hill forts and everything else. Miss Kimo going to be pulling back here. And I guess another way to take this position here is instead of targeting where your opponent's army is, just attack over here. Attack over here. Attack over here in the main base. As El Matador now opting to take the fight straight to Kimo. Those mummies and the Son of Osiris are doing a huge amount of damage. Is it going to be enough or not is the big question, as the Hersa charging through here to try and finish off the mummies on the front. They do manage to do so nicely, but as El Matador charging through, he's still sitting at full population. A great fight here for El Matador at the moment. There's a Frost Giant on the back here. Gets taken out, but El Matador overstaying his welcome ever so slightly. Will have to retreat back away. And I think this is kind of why I was saying go to the center of town center here and just clean this up here. Force the army to rotate, and then you can take the fight in the center here rather than on top of the town center. You have to sort of move this army around. It's very, very tricky to play this as Norse. Obviously, I've got Omniscience, so that's cheating as well. You don't have Omniscience in a real game. But Kimo now is... Both players actually still in a fairly decent position. Throwing Axeman, dealing with those champion raiders here in a decent fashion. Do you think it's important to get that stone wall technology as well when you're playing as both players? You can see that Kimo's got it. He's actually throwing up the double walls over here as well in Kimo fashion. One thing to remember about double walls is Siege Engineers. I just want to show this technology off for a hot second. Siege Engineers actually adds... I'm right about this, right? It does. It adds a bonus against walls. And I think... I'm pretty sure it adds like an ability to the rams, which makes them do like an explosive damage. So the wall blows up or something. I'm not 100% sure. I have to check it out. But there, at the very least, there is a bonus versus walls with the engineers tech. So these sort of Kimo style walls, that's the counter to them. It's engineered portable rams, siege towers, catapults, whatever, name it. Just siege weapons to break through those walls. What's the baseline ability? Never mind. It's the baseline ability. Okay. So you just need to send your siege straight at the walls to take those out, and you can clean them up very quickly. It's the army now going straight after this position. Kimo trying to wall this one back up. But in doing this, the army here just sitting in the center of the map. There's almost enough favor for this Frost. The Frost is the answer here to getting in onto this position and cleaning this all up. He's just retreating back. There's now enough favor. El Matador has to be making this one happen. He's shorted himself fortified town centers for a little bit, but it is going to be coming through. Kimo splitting up his army ever so slightly. Still trying to break. I'm sure Kimo's enjoying this. I'm sure he's enjoying this. Just all the walls in the world. There's the camel riders on the back here getting taken down. There's Kimo charging forward here. We see a villager getting cleaned up as well. The camel riders all getting cleaned up over here. We are seeing that town center targeting down the son of Osiris. This is huge. Very slowly cleaning this one up. It does a huge amount of damage in that town center there. As it's getting pushed back. It's now down for 73 HP. Kimo, big mistake here. Losing the son of Osiris underneath the town center. El Matador is now all of a sudden going to be finding himself in a very good position. How many? He's only got the one hill fort up, however, which will make it very challenging for him to get those infantry units out. Though he can make himself raiding cavalry here as he's got thundering hooves. That can be a good way to play. Still making an attack through onto this left side, trying to lay claim to these markets, to this corner. It's the chariot archers trying to break through here yet again. We'll see if El Matador can make this happen or not. It's Kimo pulling ever so slightly back. He's still not actually at full population. Actually struggling a little bit to produce things. He's got a lot of resources. Now transitioning into some axemen to try and deal with this sort of side build, side raid thing. El Matador might not be aware of how the rams work on walls, but if he is, he's going to probably be able to just break through this position on the left very quickly with a couple of portable rams. But nonetheless, he'll be spamming out those units as the camel riders charging forward. Champion throwing axemen here. You know, funnily enough, they're actually doing fairly decently against those camel riders. And so they should. They are doing hack damage, and these camel riders only 31% hack armor. We'll be able to deal with them fairly nicely. Nonetheless, El Matador has to retreat back ever so slightly here. Mummy's going to be coming back in onto the fight. Ooh, look at all those minions coming through from these mummies. We've got a couple of Goaty to come in as well, but you know, 1 or 2 Goaty never going to be enough here to deal with the myth units with those chariot archers to be able to snipe them down very quickly. And some mummies here will start turning the tides in a big way. 343 favor in the bank here, though, for El Matador. He is cooking up for another Fimbulwinter in this game. He is 1 favor away. There it goes. Fimbulwinter gets dropped down as the economy here for Kimo is going to get hit in a very big way. Also helping out on the fight as well with those Fimbulwinters wolves there. The mummy gets sniped down there on the front. Still just no real heroes here to deal with this. And in not building any myth units himself, El Matador, he's not actually getting that one. There is a Pharaoh here, but he's not really forcing out any sort of heroes. So the mummy comes back in yet again, and he sniped that one down fast enough or not. It does have low hack armor. So if you can get hack damage units onto it, they will get a decent amount of damage done there. As the mummy gets cleaned up. Camel Rider's going down on the front there as well. And El Matador is struggling a little bit for gold here. It looks like he's run out of gold. He's got 1 gold mine remaining. Kimo 2, 1 gold mine remaining. But this gold mine's not secured in the slightest. And oftentimes this is where games can end. If you don't have that trade route sorted and you're losing the fight. El El Matador, and how much can you sell wood for? You can't sell wood for anything at the moment here. And in that moment, El Matador, not able to secure a late game position here, does decide to tap out. I mean, how many trade caravans does he actually have at this moment is the big question. I can't select them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Only 11 trade caravans. It's not quite enough here to sort of support production. Whereas Kimo, he's already... Wait, does he? Yeah, Kimo's already got a healthy amount. 22, 34. He's already got 34 camel caravans out, grabbing himself 65 gold, a trip with the Pharaoh empowering and more markets up, and still having a safe gold mine with 2,000 gold left. So he's definitely got that transition into the sort of late game, so to speak, very, very nicely here. El Matador with a really, really solid performance. You can definitely see there's a route through here for Norse to get into a good game, but Kimo, too strong, as he often is. I think if instead of this Fimble Winter, he went for the Frost on the army to like clean up another army rather than trying to deny economy for 30 seconds or something, I think it would have been like a better way to play this one. But I'm not 100% sure. I would like to see that. Like that second Frost seems really, really good here. And also, instead of charging in underneath the town center where the army is, this big fight here, you've got to sort of move the army around. So it's kind of like when there's a Son of Osiris, it's sort of a death ball comp. So you have to move it somewhere. So targeting down the center position here, forcing the army to come back over here, frosting the army maybe in this spot, or trying to get a surround over on this spot to kind of take that army on, rather than underneath the town center with the garrison control and all that stuff. It's very, very challenging to actually target under those positions there. But well played here by Kimo, also from El Matador as well. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.